Hey guys, Richard here. Welcome to the How to Train CS Agents video. Once you've identified one or more candidates that you're interested in pursuing, you're going to have to train them so that they can do their job effectively. Even in cases where your hire has had previous experience with customer service, they should still be put through your training process. This will ensure that they're performing their tasks to your specifications and not to those of their former employers. It's important that you approach the training process in a methodical, precise manner. How you choose to train your candidates will have a significant impact on how well they perform. If you cut corners and don't take time to show them how to do their tasks right, they'll probably fall short and can potentially harm your business. Like any component of your back end, a well-crafted system is going to be your best bet here. Having tested various training methodologies, I've come up with a simple 4-step system that you can use to quickly and effectively train your employees, which I'll be showing you today. I'll start things off by giving you an overview of the training process. Then I'll go over each step, showing you how to implement it in detail. Let's get to it. When it comes to employee training, there's a variety of different models that you can employ. Examples include simulation training, workshops, and shadowing. Now, the type of training process that's the most effective will depend on a number of factors, one of which is the role of your trainee. In the case of customer support, we've found a hands-on approach to be the most useful. With this style of training, you essentially act as a coach. You provide your trainee with some essential information to complete their task, then you have them put it into practice in real-world business scenarios. While they're performing their tasks, you're observing their performance, and then providing feedback as needed to make sure they're on the right track. I've gone ahead and broken this process into the following 4 steps. Step 1. Provide your trainee with a copy of your company handbook. Step 2. Provide your trainee with FAQs and corresponding answer templates. Step 3. Oversee your trainee while he or she handles real support requests. Step 4. Provide your trainee with feedback and modify your approach as needed. Now let's take an in-depth look at the process, starting with step number 1. The first thing you're going to want to do is provide your candidate with a copy of your company handbook. A company handbook is essentially a collection of information about your business that you provide your employees and trainees with. It'll usually contain things like your company's mission, your values, policies, procedures, and more. Though a company handbook might sound tedious and unnecessary, it's actually incredibly important and to the benefit of both you and your employees. You're ensuring that your employees have a full understanding of your business, as well as what's expected of them and how various situations will be handled. You'll also have something to reference if you're going to have to eventually fire your employee, which we'll talk more about in the next video. I won't go too much into the specifics of writing your own employee handbook here. The content you decide to put in here will really vary based on your operation, the positions you're hiring for, and more. However, in this lesson, we've included a template of one of our own employee handbooks. Feel free to use it either as inspiration or claim it as your own after making any necessary adjustments. After you've provided your trainee with their company handbook, you can go ahead and move on to the next step. Once the trainee has made their way through the corporate handbook, it's time to provide them with resources that will help them tackle their customer support role. By doing so, you essentially remove a lot of the guesswork when it comes to dealing with customer support inquiries. It also ensures that inquiries are properly handled to your satisfaction. What we generally do here is provide them with a list of dropshipping FAQs. These are essentially common questions or inquiries that a customer may have. With each FAQ question, we also provide a template that they should use and modify as needed to fit the situation. Additionally, if for that particular inquiry there are any steps that must be taken, for example a refund request, we'll also clearly outline what they must do in that regard. I won't be going over the various types of questions and templates that we provide in this video. However, we'll go ahead and upload you guys a sample FAQ plus a template that we've used in the past. Feel free to use the templates with your own customer support team and modify as needed. Now, one more thing that we'll do in this step before we let the trainees start answering tickets is to make sure that they understand how to use Freshdesk. If you're hiring someone with prior online customer support experience, they'll probably understand how to use the ticketing software and will be able to do so without a lot of additional training. Even if they use something else like Zendesk, they should be able to adapt pretty quickly. If not, that's no problem. These platforms are pretty intuitive to use, and explaining how to use them shouldn't require much time at all. You could simply make a short 5-minute recording of your screen with a voice narration while you show them the basic mechanics of the software. Alternatively, you could simply direct them to the official Freshdesk tutorials, which are very well documented. Once your trainee has looked over the templates and confirmed that they understand how to use Freshdesk, it's time to move on to step 3, overseeing the trainee as they begin to handle customer support inquiries. The only way to truly become good at something is to put it into practice. As such, we believe that throwing our trainees into the mix with a healthy amount of coaching is the best way to bring them closer to mastery. Now, when it comes to tracking the efficiency of trainees and employees, we like to look at 2 factors: quality and productivity. In customer support, we think of quality as the quality of responses provided. This might include considering the amount of detail included in responses to customers, or it might be about how professional they were in their responses and whether or not they used proper grammar. On the other hand, productivity refers to the output of the trainee. Some ways to help determine their output might be the following. Are they taking an acceptable amount of time to handle tickets, or are things moving too slowly? How long are they taking to respond to customers once a request is sent in? Ultimately, your trainee should be in good shape in regards to both factors to ensure an optimal customer experience. As such, it's important that you have a way to accurately gauge both metrics as accurately and as efficiently as possible. First, let's take a look at one of the most basic yet effective ways for checking for quality: checking your support tickets. Now, although you might not particularly enjoy it, looking through support tickets is a fantastic way of gauging a few different quality-related aspects of your trainee's performance. This includes qualitative things like how professional they are when they're responding to customers, whether or not they're using the right types of responses, the inquiry was handled to the satisfaction of the customer, the way in which inquiries were handled is in alignment with your company's policy and templates, if that's applicable, and whether or not good customer support principles were being followed. So, while checking support tickets is certainly a good way to gauge quality-related aspects of customer support, it's not necessarily the most efficient way of doing so, especially in regards to productivity measures. Luckily, there's a way to keep track of both quality and productivity measures, and that's by using Freshdesk's quantitative KPIs. For those who haven't heard the acronym KPI before, this stands for Key Performance Indicator, which is just a fancy way of describing a type of performance measurement. KPIs are basically ways to quantify the productivity of your employees, so that you can track performance over time and make adjustments to your systems as needed. Your KPIs will vary depending on the needs of your business and staff. For our customer service representatives, we use the following KPIs. Pending tickets should be handled within 24 hours. This is for reliability and effectiveness of customer service. All tickets should be tagged with tags that correspond to the type of problem being handled. This helps with organization and is also used to measure the reliability of our customer service agents. Average handling time per ticket, which is the average time spent on each ticket, and that should be less than 5 minutes. This metric is used to measure the total time it takes for an agent to handle a customer and their issue. The shorter the average handling time, the more efficient your agent is. Customer satisfaction. This measures the average personal score through the CSAT survey. Feedback needs to be similar per agent, since scores can really depend on niche, but can be used to highlight who is doing well or not compared to the other top agents. First response time. This indicates how long a customer has to wait before being helped with their issue. Ideally, it shouldn't be more than 5 hours, but less than 24 is an industry standard. NPS. The Net Promoter Score indirectly measures a customer's satisfaction with a customer's likeliness to recommend a company. We found that these KPIs address and track the customer support experience quite well and give us a pretty good gauge of how well our team is doing. And the best of all, Freshdesk has a built-in system for tracking these various KPIs. In this quick tutorial, we're going to be looking at the Freshdesk dashboard and report sections for a bit of the KPIs we can pull to understand the performance of our customer service team and performance by agent. So pulling up the leaderboard here, we're seeing who are the most valuable players on our team this month and last month in terms of moving the most ticket volume. Heading over to the reports, we can open up the Agent Performance tab. And here we can get a strong idea of all of the metrics quantified for each agent in the time period that we're selecting here. We can see the number of tickets assigned, resolved, the SLA percentages, which is the accuracy of them hitting our set KPIs, the first response time averages, and even how many times they've reopened tickets. We can filter by top scorers in each category and consistently see that even the maximum first response time here, which is one of our important KPIs, is uniformly hit across time. Now heading over to the Performance Distribution tab, we can see that once again we're hitting our first response time without any issue. So as a group, our agents are performing quite well. And even in the month period, we're not exceeding anywhere under 5 hours, which is our company's standard for first response time, which we think makes customers very happy. But if you have anything under 24 hours here, you're going to be meeting the average industry standard, and it really depends on how many agents you have and how much ticket volume. If you're looking at the average resolution time, this depends on the customer to answer, so it's going to be less important in understanding your personal agent's performance. More importantly then is going to be looking into the satisfaction survey. So for one of our top agents, for example, that we've filtered here, she has above 70% positive, 10% neutral, and 20% negative, which is great, even though the sample size here is only 10. And we can look at an agent that's not doing quite as well with a 8% positive and a 92% negative. So this is an agent that we're already highlighting and giving feedback to try to improve their performance. I think in this case it's important to remember that anything above a 30% positive score is already a good customer satisfaction score for your agents, so don't be too hard on them. Anyone who's having a positive customer service experience is most likely not going to leave a survey answer at all, and anyone who's having a bad experience is more likely to leave a survey. So I think a 30% positive metric is a good benchmark for your agents to hit at minimum, and you'll see your top performing agents exceed that. Anyone under the 30% mark, you'll want to consider giving them feedback on their performance or qualitatively look at their tickets and to see why they might be not getting the best possible score for their customer satisfaction surveys. Worst case, when an agent doesn't perform or respond well to the feedback on the surveys that you're providing them, then you might want to line them up for termination or some sort of end of service. Step 4, providing feedback. Once you start to keep track of performance through either of the methods outlined above, you're going to want to make sure you provide feedback where necessary. If things are going well, let your trainees know that they're on the right track. This will let your trainees know you appreciate their efforts and what they're doing is what you'd like them to continue doing going forward. But if they're not performing as well as you'd like, that's fine. They're trainees after all. And they may just require a little bit more guidance. The best thing to do in situations like these is to use what information you've gathered in step 3 and talk to them about individual points. Be honest but professional when you're conveying these things. You don't want to make your trainees feel like they're going to be scolded for making occasional human errors. After you've spent time reviewing your customer service agent's work, provide them with feedback as necessary and making adjustments on the way. And that's it. Training is a straightforward process of observation, feedback, and improvement. It does take time and effort to build systems, but once again, this will pay off immensely as your business continues to grow. In the next video, we'll go over how to actually manage your team and turn your customer service department into a well-oiled machine. Many of the principles we've outlined here will still be relevant, so if you haven't quite gotten everything down, be sure to go back and watch closely. What we do in training and building systems for the customer service department will be reflected onto other departments that you build throughout your business, including creative, human resources, logistics, and more. That's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video.